What is up, YouTube? This is Christian Professional Dad, and I'm here with another knife video. And today I'm going to be doing a video that I'm going to be honest with you, I wasn't too thrilled and excited about doing it. I was asked to make this video in a recent comment, and honestly, I was already considering doing this video. But all that kept coming to my mind was, I'm not the right person to do this video. I'm not knowledgeable enough, I'm not experienced enough, I've not got enough reputation and credibility to do this type. If I was doing a list of my top 10 EDC knives, that's my own personal opinion. What knives do I like? These are the knives I like. My top 10 favorite knives, my top 10 most expensive knives. Those are knives that are not, those are videos that aren't into question and don't really rely on credibility or anything. Certain things do though. This is one of those videos, and there are a lot of resources out there through blogs and YouTube videos and Google that have this type of information from sources that are far more reliable and credible than me. I just don't think that I'm qualified to speak on certain things. But what I did was I decided I was going to look at these lists. Top 10 blade steels for EDC. My favorite blade steels. That's the caveat. These aren't the top 10 best knife blade steels. This isn't the top 10 best blade steels for this or this or this or this. My personal favorite blade steels for my EDC carry. Now here's a couple of caveats. That we got to address and lay the groundwork going into this video, so that you know what I'm dealing with. Number one, I don't get to beat up and use my knives as much as I used to. I'm not out there in the woods. I'm not using them as a pry bar and chisel in a machine shop. I'm not cutting 1,000 boxes a day. My knives get light use and EDC use. Normal wear and tear EDC use because of my life situation and my health situation. So, some people get to really experience and test the performance of certain blade steels far more than I do. That's another reason why I didn't think I was the right person to speak on this, because I don't put my knives through enough. But I do still have preferences, and I do still do a lot of research. I love gaining knowledge. I watch a lot of videos. I read a lot of blogs. I studied a lot of the different charts from Bohler Thomas and Knife Steel Nerds and stuff like that. So I do have my personal preferences. Number two, this list is not just considering my personal likes and dislikes. Because I am doing a video the same way that I am about every topic, I try to be empathetic to the people who might be watching. So a blade steel that I might consider better, I might put down lower because it might be an expensive blade steel that the average person can't get. Or it might be harder to sharpen than the average person will be able to deal with. So it's going to come down on my list. Or it might come up on the list because it is more affordable so the average person can get it. It is easier to sharpen so the average person can sharpen it. So those factors will factor into this list. This is a list of knife steels, my personal preference and what I think are the best blade steels for EDC. But it does have the caveat of taking everybody as a whole on EDC into it. This isn't just the knives that I EDC. This is my favorite blade steels for EDC across the board for anybody. So other people's, the impact that the blade steels will have on them or them on the blade steels will factor into this. And number three, all of this knowledge that I'm going to share, the numbers and stuff, come from reliable, credible sources. Bohler Thomas's Knife Steel Nerds charts. A lot of you will disagree with a lot of this stuff. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. I don't know, but I'm assuming that some people will. Let's just say going into it, you're right, I'm wrong. I surrender now. You're right, I'm wrong. It is what it is. If you disagree with the numbers, though, that I'm presenting, that's between you and Bohler Thomas, because all these numbers come from his official charts on Knife Steel Nerds. And whenever I say something is hard to sharpen, I'm not talking about the pro. Recently, I'd done a video and somebody messaged me telling me how they could sharpen the heck out of this blade steel and it wasn't hard to sharpen and stuff like that. And I'm like, I think you might have missed the point of the video. wasn't really talking about that blade steel per se. I was just talking in broad general terms. And also when I'm talking about something being hard to sharpen, I'm not talking about the person or persons that are knife experts that sharpen a lot. You all can take any blade steel, it don't matter what it is, MagnaCut, Elmax, CruWear, Van X, whatever it is, give you a couple diamond plates and psh, 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 psh. Next thing you know, I've got a Ginsu knife there. I'm chopping katami mats and stuff. It is what it is. I'm not talking to that person. You don't need no advice. You already know this. I'm talking about the average person that does not know how to sharpen, that does not know how to do this stuff. That's who this is designed for. When I say that they're easy to sharpen or hard to sharpen. All right. Number 10, going into this. Number 10 is a great blade steel. I like it a lot. It's Bohler N690. Now, the reason that I like Bohler N690 a lot, and it's coming in at number 10, is because I talk about it all the time, that I love EDCing fixed blades. I like to EDC fixed blades a lot. Now, I have 4 little boys. I have 6 kids older. Y'all know that. 4 of them I have full time. The other day, Gatorade got spilled all over me. It went all over my knife, went down in my sheath and everything. It was nasty. I had to clean it out. I had to run in straight in there and rinse it off, run it under the water, then clean it off, pat it dry, all this other stuff, clean out the sheath. If I had been out and about, that could have sat there for 2 or 3 hours and grime and sugar and everything else gotten all over it. It could have stained the blade. It could have tarnished the blade. God knows what else could happen, different situations and stuff. So I like EDC and fixed blades, but there's some stuff about Bohler N690 that really make it appealing for me as a single dad, fixed EDC and fixed blade, and the situation I'm in. There's 4 numbers I'm going to give you: edge retention, corrosion resistance, hardness on the HRC chart, and toughness. All 4 of these come from Laren Thomas's Knife Steel Nerds charts. Some of these are higher, some of them are lower, but they are what they are. For Bohler N690 edge retention, it gets a 6. So it's decent edge retention. It's above average. That's a good edge retention for an affordable blade steel. Now, the 2 knives that I'm going to show you that I have in it is this Bradford Guardian 4 and this Beluga from Petrified Fish. Now, I thought about getting the Bradford Guardian 4 and MagnaCut and stuff. I've got the Guardian 3 in AEBL, but MagnaCut's a lot more expensive, different blade steels and stuff like that. I just didn't need it. Bohler N690 is a good, reliable blade steel, so I went with the one that was more affordable, easier to get, and you can also get a lot of really good fixed blades like this Beluga under $100 with Bohler N690. It's a really good fixed blade steel. You can get on folders as well. 6 on edge retention. Here's the thing. I told you about that Gatorade. Imagine if I'd been out and about somewhere and it had sat in that Gatorade for hours or something, that sugar and everything. It has a 9.5 out of 10 for corrosion resistance. Bohler N690 has one of the highest corrosion resistance there is on this chart. On this top 10 list of mine, it has the highest, I think. Extremely corrosion resistant. Extremely, which is a big plus. Hardness is a 59. That's going to come into play here in a second. And toughness is 5, right in the middle of the road. An EDC fixed blade. You're not going to be beating on it, batoning it. It could probably handle that with the 5. It could probably handle a little bit, but you don't want to go too hard on it because it's not designed to be an outdoor knife that you're out there chopping down trees and stuff with. But it is high enough to where you can do some real legit stuff with it. 5 is a decent number. It's average, middle of the road. Across the board, this is an average, middle of the road blade steel that you can still get at an affordable price. 59 for the hardness is important because it's got a 6 for the edge retention, which is decent. So it's going to have a good edge retention. But when it does go dull or it needs stropped, with the 59 for the hardness, that means it's going to be easy, a breeze to sharpen. It's going to be easy to sharpen, easy to strop. 59 is a lower number that's going to give it some more toughness and durability, but it's also going to make it easier to sharpen and edge, deal with your edge. So Bohler N690 is a great middle of the road, affordable blade steel that's great for EDC fixed blades. In my opinion, it's one of the best blade steels for EDC fixed blades. All right, number 9. Is a very, very balanced across the board blade steel. This is one of the more balanced. Not the most balanced. I'll tell you what the most balanced is in a minute, in my opinion. All this is in my opinion. But it's 14C, Sandvik 14C 28N. Now that's a Swedish blade steel. Comes out of Sweden. Now the Sandvik 14C you're going to find on a lot of different knives, and you can get those for around that $40, $50, $70 price range. Some of them up to $100, a little bit more than $100, but you're going to get it at a very affordable price. Now the reason it's in the top 10 is because it is an affordable blade steel. You have a ton of knives out there to choose from. A ton. There's no shortage of blades in 14C, which is going to raise it up because you got so many different options out there. There's a reason so many knife companies are using 14C. Here's how the balance is. 3.5 on edge retention out of 10. So it's a little low. It doesn't have the best edge retention. Let's just be honest. It doesn't. Has better than 8CR and stuff, which is I think coming in around a 2 or a 3. So it has better than like a 8CR and stuff. But it still doesn't have the best edge retention that there is. But on corrosion resistance, it has a 7.2. So it's extremely corrosion resistant. Extremely corrosion resistant. Great for EDC. You're getting an affordable blade steel that you can EDC, the average person can get. You don't have to worry about maintaining your blade a whole lot if you don't know what you're doing. It's going to do it for you because it's so stainless. It's got a 7.2. Hardness, 59. Toughness, 7. Look at that. You're getting an affordable blade steel. That affordable, $40, $60, $80. I'll show you a couple examples. This Raccoon top liner lock. In my opinion, the best budget EDC knife on the market right now. The Raccoon top liner lock. In my opinion, you are not getting a better EDC folder than this knife right here. This is fantastic. And yes, it comes in 14C. Miguron, this Moyaro. They make most of their knives in 14C, and there's a reason why. These are very, very good. This one right here is coming in around 70 bucks because of the Damascus, but you can get that knife 50, 60 bucks on Amazon. So you're getting really good knives for affordable prices that are extremely tough. They don't have the best edge retention, but they're going to last a long time because of the toughness. They're going to take a lot of abuse. They're going to have good corrosion resistance. Now, where the edge retention is a little low with 3.5, it makes up for it with the 59 on the hardness chart. It's going to make it easy to sharpen because it's not very hard. It's not very brittle. So it's a softer blade. So you can sharpen it and hone it easier. So the average person, again, not you pros, you can sharpen any blade steel. We've already covered that. I'm talking about the average person that don't know how to sharpen, that don't have a lot of experience, that don't use knives a lot, that is new to knives, that just has a lot of knives, but they just don't care about sharpening. They don't like to sharpen, stuff like that. They struggle with it. 14C is going to be easy for them because of the 59 on the hardness chart. So you don't have the best edge retention, but it is easy to put an edge back on it. So across the board, it's a very balanced blade steel. Very good one. And you're getting a lot of options for extremely good prices. That's why it's in the top 10. Number 8. This one is only this low because of, well, I'll tell you. CruWear. Number 8 is CruWear. This is the Benchmade Adamas. Let me tell you, if the apocalypse happens tomorrow, if aliens invade, if I get sentenced to a prison work camp where I'm busting blocks all day long in the hot sun, if I've got to take a tank down for recycling and I've got to destroy it and I've got to pry bar and chisel and everything else, if I've got people that's going to be plinking, if I need a target to shoot at with a pellet gun or something, or something far more powerful than that, if you know what I mean, because I've seen people do these tests on this destructible test to see shakes it off. If I was still out in the woods, CruWear, I'd be chopping trees down. I'd be tying this on the end of sticks and using it like a spear, chucking it across the forest. I'd be looking for mountains. Which one of you mountains want some? Y'all ain't that big. When I got this in my hand, I'll chop you down to size. I'd be looking for the biggest boulder. Next thing you know, I got pebbles in my hand. I'm talking right now. CruWear is insane. CruWear is insane. It is not indestructible. but it's one of the most durable and indestructible blade steels that there is. But I'm going to tell you the numbers right now, and there's a reason it's coming in at number 8. All right, so the numbers on CruWear are this. Edge retention, 6.2, so it's above average. So it's got decent edge retention. It's not the best in the world, but it's pretty good. Corrosion resistance, here's where it lacks. It's 4.5. It's a tool steel, so it's going to be lower. Now this is a coated blade because Benchmade coats their Adamas, so it's going to raise it a little bit more. But CruWear is definitely one that you're going to have to maintenance a lot. And a lot of people don't know how to do that, don't know that they're supposed to. They'll use it, it'll get wet, stuff like that. They'll just put it up, they'll come back in a week or two, get their blade out, and it'll have spots all over, and they're like, oh, what's going on? I had that happen to me when I was just getting into knives. I couldn't understand why I didn't understand the numbers, corrosion resistance, and all that other stuff. I didn't understand the differences. I didn't understand tool steels from blade steels and stainless steels and all that other stuff. So a lot of people don't know. That's going to bring this number down because it's got a lower corrosion resistance. Hardness is 62. Now I've heard different things about CruWear. Some people say that the ideal number is lower than that. Some people say the ideal number for it is higher than that. But Laren Thomas's Knife Steel Nerds, his chart says 62 is the ideal number for CruWear. If you don't agree with that, go talk to him, not me. I'm just saying this is his number. But here you go. Are you ready? For toughness, out of 10, 8.2. This knife is so darn tough and durable and strong. This is a survival knife. This is a knife that... Here's a couple more caveats. Geometry plays a big part in all of this, edge stuff and knife stuff and blades. We're not talking about which knife is the most slicey. We're not talking about which knife cuts the best. We're not talking about any of that, so geometry is for a different discussion. Heat treat, we're just assuming that the heat treat's done right on all these, all right? We're just assuming that. We're just talking about their ideal numbers. So this is number 8 for me on my list because even though it has great edge retention, even though it's extremely, extremely durable and tough and strong, it's 62 on the Rockwell chart, which means when you go to sharpen this, you better pack an all-day lunch. No, check that. You better pack a couple lunches because you're probably going to be out there for 3 or 4 days. Pack you a bag, pack your overnight clothes, change your clothes, pack some soap because you don't want to stink. You're going to get body odor if you're out there and you're not taking showers. So you need to make sure that you take your toothbrush, your toothpaste, your body wash, your deodorant, all that other stuff. Fresh pair of socks because you don't want to get, fungus foot. Make sure you got all that when you go to work because that's what this is going to require. If you don't know how to sharpen, you are going on a journey. This is no joke when it comes to sharpening. Again, you all that know how to, you can sharpen this no problem. I can sharpen this no problem. Put a couple diamond plates out here, give me 15 minutes and I'm going to have an edge on this. No problem. I'll turn it into a sushi knife. All right? We're not talking about you. We're talking about the average person. The average person is not going to be able to sharpen this. They're going to get flustered and frustrated. How many people get flustered with D2 and they can't do it and they give up and they get aggravated and they throw their knife away or they just put it in the drawer and don't ever want to deal with it again. And then they develop opinions about it. And, oh, that's a crappy steel and all that other stuff just because they don't know how to sharpen. This is going to be even worse. That and the fact that it has such a low corrosion resistance brings it down for me. So it's number 8. But when you're talking about an indestructible blade steel, CruWear is one of the best. Another reason that this comes down so low on the chart is because it's extremely expensive. And even though there's a lot of blades out there in CruWear, they are limited. You have to go looking for a CruWear blade. It's not like Kaiser has a ton of CruWear blades or Civivi or Vosti have just a ton of CruWear blades to choose from. Oh, let's look at the raccoon. Oh, look, the very first one you see is a CruWear version. No, you got to go looking for CruWear blades for the most part. They're expensive. They're more limited. They're not as prevalent as other blade steels. Lower corrosion resistance and extremely hard to sharpen. It's going to bring this number down. But I love CruWear. I love it. If you know how to sharpen it, You can cut with this thing for weeks and just cut and cut and cut and chop and cut and chop and cut. And as long as you're stropping your blade, that edge is going to stay beautiful and pristine. I love CruWear. Number 7, this could be in the top 3, but a couple of those factors that just brought down CruWear brings down this number 2. Number 7 is Elmax. I love Elmax. Elmax could be in my top 3. Elmax is phenomenal. Wait till you hear these numbers on Elmax. Elmax is next level, but it's extremely expensive, definitely limited on your options, and a few more things that we're going to talk about. Now I'm going to show you a couple options for Elmax. Number 1 is the CruWear knives. I've got several CruWear knives. I've got a ton of Elmax knives back here, but CruWear makes their X-Tile, which is this one, the Django back here. They make their Padre, the Chad. They make a lot of Elmax blade steels. Really good blades, but they're expensive. They're premium knives. Another company right now that's making a lot of good knives in Elmax is Chavez, making their blue label. Now I've got a couple of the blue labels here, and I've got another one on the way. I've got a couple of blue labels here, and these are both in Elmax. And Elmax is a phenomenal blade steel. The reason it's so good for EDC, well, I'm going to show you right here. Let me read the numbers for Elmax. Wait till you hear these numbers. These are insane numbers for Elmax. And then you're going to ask, well, why is it so low on your list? And I'll explain. 8.5 on edge retention out of 10. As long as it's going to take you to sharpen this, don't worry. Just make sure you got an Elmax with you, because you can cut everything you need to cut while you're out on that 5-day mission to sharpen this, because that will cut and cut and cut and cut. It has excellent edge retention. Corrosion resistance, 7.1. Hardness, 62. Toughness, 6. Across the board, the numbers are insanely good. Insanely good. Excellent edge retention. Excellent corrosion resistance. Really tough. You're not taking this out and beating on this and using it as batoning wood. I mean, maybe some people would, but most people aren't going to. We're just talking EDC purposes here. And EDC purposes that you're going to run across, ain't nothing's going to be enough abuse. I mean, of course you can if you're trying to. I'm saying on an average, normal use of EDC, 6 on the toughness is going to stand up to anything you're doing. Here's what brings it down. It's definitely an expensive blade steel. This is only going to be on your more premium blades. Definitely limited options. Elmax isn't just out there and everything. It's one of those that certain knives and certain brands use it. You got to go looking for Elmax. It's more prevalent now, and it's becoming more prevalent, but it's still not like every knife has an option in Elmax. You know, some knives have, every knife, it has a model that you can get in D2. It has a model that you can get in 14C. You can get a version of this knife in several different blade steels. Elmax is one of those blade steels that you just can't do that with. Specific knives come in Elmax, and that's it. Another thing that brings it down, my nose is itching, I apologize, how hard it is to sharpen. It's 62 on the hardness chart, the Rockwell chart. It's extremely hard to sharpen. I mean hard if you don't know what you're doing. Elmax is another one of those, you'll give up. You'll get frustrated. And I don't mean to say this to discourage people from sharpening. I say this to mean, know what you're doing. Get experience. Don't quit when you struggle. I'm saying this because that way when you get into it and you're realizing, oh, I've been sharpening this for a while and it's still not sharpened, I must be doing something wrong. No, you're not. That's the way it is. That's normal. When I was new to it and I couldn't put an edge on something and I worked on for a while, and I would think that I was just horrible at it, that I just didn't have what it takes. No, that's not it. It's just the blade still is that hard to sharpen. You've got to put more time and effort into it. So I want people to know going into it, when you're struggling as much as you are, that is how it's supposed to be. That's just the blade still. It is what it is. So Elmax is number 7 on my list. It could be in the top 3. If it was just me personally, just without considering anybody else or any of the viewers, it would be in my top 3. Elmax would. But because I do this as a channel and I consider each and every one of you, I have to consider everybody's needs and interest and peaks and valleys and performances and issues and durability and what situations you're going to use it in, your sharpening abilities. All that has to come into play. I have to consider all that. So Elmax gets down on the list. But again, if this was just me on my own, Elmax would be in my top 3. It's that awesome. All right. Number 6, I said 14C was one of the most balanced blade steels, but there was one that was more, and this one's it, 154 CM. 154 CM, in my opinion, is the most balanced blade steel that you can get across the board for under $100. There are a ton of options in 154. There's no shortage of knives, so you've got plenty to choose from. There's a reason why, because 154 is such a good brand, or a good blade steel. Here's another thing about it that makes it a really good number that brings it up on the chart. How affordable it is. You're getting the quality and the well balance that you get, but it's still affordable prices. I'm going to show you a couple options. This Kaiser Assassin, 154, $60, what, $65? A button lock, phenomenal EDC knife right here. Phenomenal EDC knife. I love the Kaiser Assassin, 154 CM. Kaiser Muskrat, a phenomenal little fixed blade, 154 CM. I'll show you another one I just got in. I need to do a video on this. Thank you, James. The Mini Roach, another one in 154 CM. And yes, this is Kaiser. Kaiser does a lot in 154 CM. You have no shortage of knives in 154 CM. So that's going to raise it up on the chart. But here's another couple things that raise it up on the chart as well. I'm going to tell you the numbers. This is extremely well balanced for the price that you pay. 6 on edge retention, above average. That's pretty good edge retention. 5 on corrosion resistance, so right there middle of the road. It's good corrosion resistance. It's going to hold up well. It's going to hold up really well. It ain't up there with Elmax, but it's going to hold up well. The hardness chart, it's a 60. Extremely easy to sharpen. Extremely easy to sharpen. Toughness is only a 4. But remember, we're talking EDC, so you're not going to be taking these knives out and beating the tar out of them. Maybe you will. There's an exception to every rule, but it's not designed for that. This is EDC normal use. So those numbers are very good across the board. You're getting really good. 14C was 3.5 on edge retention. This is a 60. This is a 6 on edge retention. 14C was 59 on hardness. 154 is 60. So it's a little bit harder. So it's going to have a little bit better edge retention. It goes hand in hand. But it's still low enough to be a breeze for sharpening. The average person can strop this and sharpen this no problem. And toughness is just middle of the road. Toughness and corrosion resistance is just middle of the road. It's right there, average. It's good. So well balanced. So when you get that kind of edge retention in a well balanced blade across a board, and you have that many options, and you can get it for under $100, so many options under $100. Yes, there are options above $100, but most of your options at 154 are under $100. Here's the thing. There's CPM 154, which is a crucible powder metal, or you can get 154 CM. CPM 154 or 154 CM. Virtually identical. They're the same things. One's powder, one's not. They're the same exact thing, though. So their numbers are almost identical. So it is what it is. All right. Number 5. I love this blade steel. S45VN. This is another one when you see the numbers across the board, they're insane. S45 is like if S30V, S35VN got together, had a baby, and S45 came out and was the best of both worlds. Boom, S45VN. This is on the ProTech Mordax, the Blade HQ exclusive. Now I'm going to tell you right now, if you've watched my videos for any amount of time, you will know that this is definitely by far my favorite knife that I've ever owned. I love this knife. I love this knife. This knife. It is fantastic. Now here's the thing. I EDC'd this for what, a month and a half, 2 months straight. Back when I first started making videos, I carried this every single day, and I cut so much with this. I've never one time sharpened this. Never one time have I ever sharpened this. I've stropped it a few times, but I've never ever sharpened this blade. And when I say I've cut a lot of boxes, I've cut a lot of fruit, I've cut a lot of tags, I've cut open a lot of toys. I mean, I have cut. I've whittled with this thing. I have cut so much. When I say it is still a razor blade, this thing is a razor blade. S45 has amazing numbers. Wait till you read these. But there's a couple things that bring it down. S45VN edge retention, 6.8, way above average. Corrosion resistance, 7.1. It's up there with Elmax. Extremely good corrosion resistance. Hardness, 60. That's a little deceptive. I don't know what Larry Thomas is talking about, so I can't argue with the numbers because they come from his charts, but I'm going to tell you why that's deceptive in a minute. And toughness is almost 6. Those are extremely high numbers across the board. Those are phenomenal. The edge retention on the S45VN, S35VN is the same way. It's got great edge retention. This is just a little bit better edge retention, a little tougher, and a little bit better corrosion resistance. But it's close to S35VN. So they could, either one could be put here, but S45 is just a little bit better in every category. So I put S45 above it. It is what it is. Here's what brings S45 down. Even though it says 60 on the hardness chart, let me tell you, if you've ever tried to sharpen S35VN, you know how hard it is to sharpen. It ain't no joke. S45 is even harder. I don't know why it's 60 on the hardness chart, because it's hard to sharpen S45VN. It's hard. I've not had to sharpen that blade because it holds an edge for so long. But once it does go dull, let me tell you, you're in for a journey. You're in for a real treat. You're going to get some experience sharpening the blade. Another thing that brings it down is the fact that it's an expensive blade still. It ain't cheap. S35 is becoming a more affordable blade still, and you can get it on more options these days. 100, 125, 140 bucks, 150 bucks. You can get it on a ton of knives. You can also get it on ultra premium knives, S35VN. So S35 is still good enough to be on a super ultra premium knife, but it also is starting to come down in price to where you're seeing it on more affordable knives around that $100, $120, $140 price range. Some of them even under 100 bucks when you get them on sale. S45, far more limited in options. You do not see a lot of knives in S45VN. You just don't. S35, you do. There's a lot of knives in S45. I'm not saying that there's not. I'm just saying there's not a lot of options compared to the market. When you go onto Blade HQ and there's thousands and thousands of knives, that's when I'm saying it's limited. There's not a lot compared to the market. S45 is one of those blade stills you got to go looking for it. They're just not prevalent. You do have a lot of knives out there that's S45 on the knives, but you got to go looking for them. They're specialty knives. They're ultra premium. They're expensive. It's just not very common. It's also harder to sharpen. So that's going to bring it down a little bit. But the numbers are insanely good on S45VN. Again, I have been using this knife for a long time, and I EDC'd this knife for a month or two straight every single day. And I make sure when I EDC, I intentionally try to find things to use the knives for, because I know I don't get to go out and use them for other things. So when I'm going to prep food for dinner, I'm not using my kitchen knives. I mean, I do for certain things, but for the most part, I'm using my knives, because I want to put them through their paces. I want to get use out of them. So I do use my knives a lot, just not out there doing what normal people are doing with jobs and hardcore jobs and putting them through the paces and pry bars and scrapers and different things like that. I'm just not doing all that. So Next, this is one of my favorite, XHP. Number 4 is XHP. XHP is basically stainless D2. It's tougher than D2. It has better edge retention than D2, but it's basically a stainless D2. D2 is a really good blade steel. I don't think D2 gets the credit that D2 deserves. D2 is a phenomenal blade steel with good edge retention. It really is. I'm going to show you a couple knives in D2, or XHP, I mean. This is the Spartan Blades Astor. I've been carrying this almost every day since I got it. Even if I'm EDCing another knife, I still have this on me somewhere. I love this knife. This is probably the best fit for my hand that I've ever held for a knife. This fits my hand better than any knife I've ever owned or held. I love this knife. It fits in my hand like a glove. Oh, it's so comfortable. Now, another knife that comes in XHP, this is how good it is. Spyderco uses it on the Shaman. That's how good XHP is. This is a $289 knife and it uses XHP. XHP is not some D2 budget blade steel. You can get it on affordable knives sometimes, but let me tell you, XHP is a good blade steel. Very good blade steel. The numbers are, for edge retention, 7.9. What? Just like D2. D2 has what, a 6.5, 7 on edge retention? So it's really got good edge retention, D2 does. That's what makes it so good. This XHP is 7.9. Corrosion resistance is a 6, above average. Now D2, you're getting that good edge retention, but no corrosion resistance because it's a tool steel. So imagine you get all that edge retention and corrosion resistance. Best of both worlds. Hardness is 61. It's no joke to sharpen. If you ever tried sharpening D2, you already know D2 is a jerk when it comes to sharpening. XHP is even worse. It ain't no joke. And toughness is a 6, so it's above average. Here's a couple things about XHP, though, that stand out. Number one, you can get it on a lot of options. You can get it on an affordable knife. It's a stainless version of D2. It's going to hold its edge really well. But also, here's the biggest reason why D2 is so loved by knife makers. D2 is one of the best blade steels when it comes to heat treating. People talk all the time, well, it depends on if the heat treat is right, if they get the heat treat wrong, and blah, blah, blah. XHP is the one blade steel, it's hard to get it wrong. It's so easy to work with and get the heat treat right that more knife companies, it don't matter if they don't have any experience with XHP. They can probably get it right the first time because it's so easy to work with. XHP is really easy to heat treat. So a lot of knife makers and knife companies like XHP because it is easier to deal with. And get it right. Not just heat treat it, but heat treat it the right way because it's easy to get it right with this. So XHP is a phenomenal blade steel. Number 3, there's two that are here together. 20CV and M390 because they're pretty much identical. There's a little bit of difference between the blades, blade steels, but they're very similar. And I'm going to show you a couple options in 20CV and Demco Shark Cub and 20CV. Phenomenal knife. I'm also giving next Tuesday that Benchmade Mini Grip Tillion Mel Pardue Custom from Viking. That's also in 20CV. Shark Cub. Another one, the Kanset Baba Yaga. This is a beautiful, gorgeous knife. This has 20 CV. But also, there's a million knives in Bohler N690. They're everywhere, especially with Microtech, like this Amphibian, or Jack Wolf knives, or any million other knives back here. Big Idea Design. Zero Tolerance, MKM, Chavez, let me see, Best Tech, Artisan Cutlery. Gosh, it's just on and on and on. There's so many that uses M390 for a reason. M390 and 20CV are phenomenal blade steels. Phenomenal. So when I tell you these numbers, For both of them, they're very equivalent. Now here's some phenomenal numbers, and this is why they are so expensive, but also on so many premium knives. Edge retention, 9.2, out of the park. Corrosion resistance, 7.2, really, really high. Hardness, 6.1. Toughness, 6. Across the board, extremely high numbers. Extremely high numbers. There's a reason that Bohler N690 is so prevalent on expensive blade steels and premium knives. There's a reason. There's a reason. 20CV, same way. Now, here's the thing. Like 20CV, for instance. M390 is pretty much the same way, but not as bad. 20CV will hold an edge forever. I mean, forever. Like literally forever. Think of what forever is and multiply that by forever, and that gives you forever. That's how long 20CV will hold a blade. Obviously, I'm being facetious. It doesn't hold it that long. But 20CV holds an edge a very, very, very long time. But here's the thing. When it does go dull, it becomes extremely hard to work with, extremely hard to sharpen. It also becomes very chippy, the edge, so you get chips in the edge. So it's hard to get a polished, refined edge on 20CV. M390 is a little bit similar, but not as bad. M390 is much easier to put a polished edge on than 20CV is. So you really got to know what you're doing. It's extremely hard to work with. That 61 on the Rockwell chart is extremely hard to sharpen, but it's also extremely expensive. But the fact that there's so many options, you aren't a shortage of M390. They're everywhere. That's going to bring it up because you just got so many options in M390. That brings it up on the chart. Such good edge retention brings it up. Such good corrosion resistance brings it up. I mean, on and on and on. The toughness brings it up. So it's really high on the chart. Now, what brings it down is the price and the fact that it's hard to sharpen. That's why it's not number one. Otherwise, it probably would be number one, but it brings it down because of that. But there's a ton of different knives in M390 and 20CV, and if you want a good EDC blade, 20CV is, man, I'm telling you, you want to talk about holding an edge for a long time, 20CV is there. That's it right there. Try it out. Check it out. All right, number two, and I'm almost done. Number two, this almost was number one for me because for a long time I've told people that this was my favorite blade steel, and it probably would, other than the fact that I'm doing this list, so it takes it to number two because I do consider other people. But this probably is, me personally, my absolute all-time favorite blade steel, and I've said that in many other videos before and in comments and stuff. M4. I love M4. Some people don't like M4. I understand why. I love M4. I think it's phenomenal. I think it's absolutely phenomenal. I love M4. I've got a few M4 blades like this Mel Pardue Griptilian. And I wanted to show this because 20CV, that mini Griptilian that I'm giving away Tuesday. So I wanted to show this Griptilian for the M4. Never sharpened it. I've honed it several times. I mean, I've ran it across some rods and stuff, but I've never actually took it to like a diamond abrasive or anything like that. I've not had to, and it's still razor blade sharp. And I bought it from a pawn shop and got a really good deal on it with these scales already on it, these AWT scales. So, and it was already a razor blade, and it's still a razor blade all this time later. A razor blade. I love M4. Now, there's some things about M4 that other people don't like, and I understand, which is why it's not number one for me. Edge retention, 9.1. Out of the park. Out of the park. Holds an edge for a very, very, very long time. Corrosion resistance is 3.2. I mean, it's a tool still. So it has, very little corrosion resistance. So you're going to get a rusty, corroded blade. This is coated. So you probably see the oil and stuff on there where I've put oil on it before and wiped it down. I always try to do that and then wipe them down really good and stuff. But I try to do that with all these knives. Make sure that, you know, because I don't want to pull these out one day and show them on camera and they've got spots all over them. But I would do that whether I'm doing videos or not. Take care of your knives will take care of you. But it does not have any corrosion resistance. M4 doesn't. And that's one of the reasons why people don't like it, because it is a harder blade to maintain. You've got to really work with it. You've got to take care of it. You got to put time into it. A lot of people just don't want to do that. They don't have the time. They're limited on their time. They've got busy lives and stuff. So nobody has that extra 5, 10, 15 minutes that you got to sit down, get out the oil, wipe it down, pat it dry, different stuff like that. You know, take care of yourself. I understand that can be a pain. Hardness, 63. Toughness, 7.5. As tough as they come. Baton with it, chop with it, whatever you want. You can do anything. No, I mean, within limits. Obviously, I'm always being facetious. M4 is so tough and strong and durable and good edge retention. It has so many good qualities. It's extremely hard to sharpen, 63 on the hardness chart. It's extremely hard to sharpen. It's the worst probably on the list for sharpening. M4 is no joke. It is extremely hard to sharpen. And it also has low corrosion resistance. You also don't have as many options in M4 for blades. That's why it's not number one. Otherwise, it probably would be number one. I love M4. M4 is a fantastic blade steel. 9.1, 3.2, 63, and 7.5. All numbers are really high except for that corrosion resistance. But again, extremely expensive blade steel. Very limited on options. Hard to sharpen. So it brings it down to number 2. And number 1 for my favorite blade steels across the board for EDC. Dun dun dun. Where is it? S90V. This is the QSP Penguin, an S90V, diamond coated or diamond textured, I should say, aluminum handles and a S90V blade steel. S90V. For EDC, I just don't think you're beating it. For EDC, for the average person, I just don't think you're beating it. Edge retention, 9.5. You can cut and cut and cut and cut and cut thousands of boxes. I mean, it's going to hold its edge. Corrosion resistance, almost a 6. It's like 5.8. So it's almost a 6 for corrosion resistance. So you're getting some corrosion resistance. Hardness chart is 61. It's hard to sharpen. Toughness, it's 4. So here's the difference. You're getting more corrosion resistance than you are for an M4. You're getting a lot more corrosion resistance. A lot. Like this is basically stainless. This is not. They both have edge retention over 9. 9.1, 9.5. So both hold their edge really long. Hardness, 63, 61. So both of them are going to be really hard to sharpen. Really hard. Toughness, what was this? 7.4. Is that what this was? For the M4, 7.5 for toughness. And this is a 4. So this is very, very durable and strong and tough. This is not for that kind of job. This is for cutting and slicing and slashing. This is not for batoning and beating and feather sticking or smashing on it or chopping with it. It becomes brittle and it'll snap or break the tip. And the edge also becomes chippy and stuff as well. Extremely hard to sharpen. Very, very hard to sharpen. But if you strop your edge and you take care of it, this will hold an edge for a very, 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 very long time. I love S90V. I think for EDC, You can cut and cut and cut and cut and cut, and it's going to do the job and hold the edge. So S90V is a phenomenal blade steel. It's not the most tough. So it's just for EDC. Don't expect it to go out there and use this in the outdoors or in a machine shop or anything like that. It's just not going to hold up to that type of abuse. But it is going to be corrosion resistance. It is going to have good edge retention, and it is going to be extremely, extremely, extremely hard to sharpen. But all of those in all are my list of the top 10 EDC knives. Blade steels, I should say, not knives, but blade steels. Now, there's one last caveat I want to make. There is an ultimate blade steel that I think is across the board the best blade steel in the world. Best blade steel in the world. Across the board. $10.95. Not necessarily for EDC, but $10.95, even though it has no corrosion resistance for the most part, it's extremely, extremely tough. Extremely easy to sharpen. Good edge retention. Across the board, $10.95 is the one blade steel that you could use in the apocalypse outside of CruWear, and it's going to get you through. The difference in this and CruWear is you can sharpen this really easy. In CruWear, you got to have a team of 6 people, a couple drills, jacks, Dremel tools, diamond abrasives. You got to draw up plans and schematics. You got to plot out a week or two to do it. You got to make sure everybody's got time off from work that they can dedicate to this. Probably still have to pay them because it's such pain. You got to get them health insurance because they might get hurt and might injure their hands on this blade. I mean, CruWear is no joke. This is super easy to sharpen. Super easy. Run a rock. You can run a rock across $10.95. As long as you're doing it the right way in the right form and pattern, you'll hone that or strop that edge back to standing up. $10.95, in my opinion, is across the board the best blade steel there is, but it's not great for EDC because of the corrosion resistance, because of the edge retention. It does have great edge retention, but it ain't got no S90V edge retention, anything like that. But it is easy to sharpen. But you just, with the corrosion resistance and stuff like that, $10.95 is just more of a survival, outdoors, camping, bushcraft type of knife, in my opinion. Too many ways for it to get corroded and stuff in general EDC use. But that is my list of top 10 blade steels for EDC. Hopefully you like it. I went a little bit longer than I wanted to. Thank you guys to everybody. I apologize for not uploading a lot lately. I've got a lot of stuff going on with my boys and just trying to focus on them. Put my phone down, replying to a few emails, replying to the comments as best I can on the videos. But other than that, my phone stays out of my hand. I've been playing Call of Duty with them. I've been trying to engage with them, have a good time with them and stuff, and take their mind off some other things that's going on that they're really upset and sad about. So just dealing with that. But and just focusing on my kids. But I am going to try to start putting videos back on consistently again and getting back onto the game. So thank you to all my premium members. There's several names that I've got to add on here. Master Sergeant, Storm, Just in Time, a few names I've got to put on here that I haven't yet, but I will get to that. I've just, like I said, I've been swamped with things going on and I just haven't focused on that stuff a lot. My Instagram is now on, my link is on my YouTube channel. Discord is on the YouTube channel link, so join the Discord, even though I'm not on there right now talking because of all this stuff and I just put my phone down. Other people are on there so you can communicate, talk knives and EDC and all that other good stuff. Knife, I still haven't got the knife of the month for the premium members. I will have it before time, trust me, and I'm going to get a good knife to give away. So if you want to be a member of the Premium Members Club for the knife of the month, remember that we got that going on. And I will see you guys Tuesday for the live. But I appreciate it, guys. I'm Christy, I'm Professional Dad. I wish all of you sharp knives and happy lives. Take care, guys. I'll see you guys soon, and I will be back with more videos to come.